This year, I took a trip to London, a long awaited yet spontaneous trip to London this summer. I spent a week there and I had the most fun. So, here is just a mere glimpse of my trip to London. Part of the silly reason why I wanted to visit London was of course, it was one of those cities which has been on my bucket list since forever. But also, since my last trip to Scotland, I still had the visa for UK and it was going to expire in a month. So I thought, why not take a trip to the city that I have always dreamt of visiting. I actually also had saved up some money prior, and last semester I also did I taught an extra course for which I got paid a little extra. So I saved up some money and I packed my bags. I booked my tickets and packed my bags to London. Despite this trip technically being a solo trip for me, didn't end up being completely a solo trip for me because I was joined by a few friends. I met a few friends who live in London and friends who also came to visit me from outside of London, and I also had my sister visit me. So even though this was supposed to be a solo trip, I ended up meeting people and meeting my friends, meeting my sister, and I had an amazing time in London. London, of course, is a city where the old meets new, especially the contrast is quite visible in the architecture. So this was my second day by myself. I was just enjoying central London, and then I had taken a ferry ride, and then I was walking by the South Bank, and I explored whatever there was in South Bank. I went to this cathedral. I went to shops. I went to antique shops. I saw a lot of those touristy shops. I also roamed around a few local markets in the South Bank. South Bank has a lot to offer for tourists and even for locals, I would say. But I don't know how much locals would like to spend time in the crowded touristy areas. But since it was summer, London was crowded. London was extremely crowded, and for some reason I did not mind it. I actually liked the hustle bustle of of the city. It's very diverse in itself, but I think because it was summer, there were a lot of tourists, and I did not mind being a tourist myself. I was doing very touristy things, eating really touristy food, and I was having a blast. But amidst my trip, there were also protests that were breaking out in the country at that time, anti-racist, peaceful protests around the country, but I was completely off internet and I was just not aware about the things that were happening at the time in UK, especially in London. Wish I didn't know. I'm having so much fun, but taking videos of myself is a little embarrassing and difficult, but I'm doing it.
Parents waiting in the driveway. Oh, my darling Arizona, why you packing up your suitcase? Hasn't anybody told you? Oh,
there was a floor dedicated to Yoko Ono's exhibition in Tate Modern Museum. I was super exhausted, to be honest. I was walking around the entire day, and in the afternoon I just wanted to rest, so I knew I did not want to explore the entire museum, although it's free. But I did want to check Yoko Ono's exhibition, and outside her exhibition there were these wish trees where people could write down their wishes. There were pens and like these paper things that you could write your wishes on, and I found it so beautiful, and it was an immersive experience in itself. So I spent some time there reading what other people were wishing around the world. Of course, people were mostly wishing for love, wishing for peace in this world, and I thought that I should too write a wish of my own. Shakespeare's Globe Theatre again. While I was I did not have this in my plan, but I was walking around and I came across the theatre and I was like, I need to be here. Although I wanted to watch a play, the tickets were sold out. I was assuming that the tickets would be really expensive, but they ranged from £15 to £25, while this tour costed me £27. So I would say next time I am in London, I definitely would want to watch a Shakespearean play at the Globe.
Everything's gonna be alright. No longer, no cry. No longer, no cry. Thank you very much. No sun and no sky.
So after the Globe, I just walked around again. There were these little benches that you can sit on. There was also this like flea market, sort of like they were selling records, they were selling art, they were selling books on the South Bank. So I grabbed a sandwich, I grabbed a beer, and I was just chilling here and walking around and soaking in the sun. It was actually not super hot. The breeze was really cool, but it was not cold. It was a good weather. It was really good, and I was thankful that it was not raining. I was praying that it does not rain when I'm in London, because London weather is unpredictable, but it's also rainy, and I was praying that it doesn't rain, and I was very lucky. I was extremely lucky to have amazing weather in London.
They always wanna come, but they never wanna leave. Access the mirror, always they hold me, and I know always they.
question.
Being a post-colonial researcher, I cannot leave away the baggage of not just my research but also my colonial roots that I have, my or my now anti-colonial stance. So although encouraged by my friend to visit the British Museum and National Gallery and whatnot, I was a little apprehensive. And I knew it would be an, if not an emotional experience, but an experience that would unsettle me a little bit. So I was a little apprehensive about going to the British Museum, but I did go. I went to the sections of South Asia, and then I went to the Egyptian section. Okay, one revelation that I had in London was that the UK does not have fans or ACs. They are not well equipped because apparently up until 2020 they did not have harsh summers. So their homes, their restaurants, their pubs, their buses, their trains are not equipped with ACs. That was something that was a little difficult, but anyway, this is the highlight. This bookstore, Words on the Water. I had seen somebody long time ago post a picture on this. A friend of mine actually posted, and then since then I have been following their page on Instagram. Words on Water they have their own page, and this was in my bucket list, this bookstore. So it's literally this is a boat, it's on a canal, and there are a lot of tourists, a lot of people. I also bought a book from here and loved it. So while walking on the banks of this canal, there was this middle-aged, I would say 55-ish years old plus couple. They were sitting in one of those boats, like you would sit in your balcony or veranda or patio. And I was so curious, and I started chatting with them, asking them about the boat, and they welcomed me and my sister, and they talked about themselves. They shared their stories. They talked about that how they have moved into the boat 2 years ago and now they live there. They also gave us a little tour of their boat, which is their home. So it was really beautiful talking to locals. I would say they also said that there would be an art show a week later, but I mean, we were just visiting. I was visiting just for a week, so we talked to them. We shared our stories, our journeys. They talked about their journey, and it was such a wholesome experience for me. কেনেকুৱা ফেমিলিৰ নে কিনে My sister and I, we got our caricatures made in Piccadilly Circus, which was fun. It was actually an experience because, of course, for the artist, we needed to stay still, and there were people. Of course, Piccadilly Circus is super crowded, and there were people who were taking pictures of us and the painter while he was drawing us. So that was an experience. Anyway, it was embarrassing, but anyway, whatever. Another thing my sister and I we wanted to do is that dance to London Thumagda in front of Big Ben, which we did, but it's a very embarrassing clip for me to put it up here. But nonetheless, we ticked off all the things we wanted to do on our bucket list: eating, drinking, dancing, talking to strangers, and yeah, all in all, London. Until next time. Till then, I'll cherish these memories, and I will see you soon.
Too much.